where do I
said, I said, it's really instructive for them. We'd like to talk about, I'd say that you can write for television. It was a time when we were categorized. We were television writers, film writers, theater, and but you're certainly true.
Okay. I was like, oh, I can do that.
Why don't you just ramble and regale them?
Okay. Well, you got. I mean, I don't know what you would be most interesting for you. You want me to? What would you like me to talk about? Actors I don't like. What would be good for you guys to hear? Yeah, from New York, Long Island, college in New York, went to law school and went for 1 year. I got out. I was smarter than normal, 5 years smarter than normal. After 1 year. I was the writing class of my life, but I was right. I got out of college. My wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was a dancer, and she would go to the center to look at stuff. This was pretty then take stuff out. And while doing that, I pulled out a couple of things to read. One was and Second Avenue. And I watched a lot of movies, but I never read any of their stuff. So somehow it was a revelation for me. It wasn't like I thought I could do it that well, but it made sense to me. It was, this feels like home. I get that. And from that point on, I started writing. What was I writing? I got a book. It was called Writer's Market. I don't know if it exists, but we came through the internet. It was communicated with advice on format, agents, and kind of stuff. And so I wrote a script about my college experience. It's called The World Looks Fantastic. And I wrote it, I didn't think I wrote it to anyone, and I wrote it to Linda, who was called on and for us. She had not laughed, I probably be back in law school. But she, like, single. Yes. And yeah, I got this book, this agent, sent it when people got I got 58 of them back. Not just unread and no longer ago, we do not solicit material. And I got 2 responses. One from a woman named Marcia Amsterdam, who's very much the illiterate agent. And she said, "This is good. You practitioner." She said, "I like this. I think it's good. What do you want to write?" And I said, "Like television." She said, "Master." And in college, I watched like Netflix and was our internet, my circle, every comedy that was on. and I'll back and forth. I'm still living in boredom, but I watch every show on television, at least 1982. And the two shows that I like on years and uh, shows one character knowledge of thought. So in order to figure out character names and stuff, I have to wait until the following week until it was on again and watch again character names and stuff. And then I wrote the script. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know what the format was. But I wrote the script. And she and read it, and I liked it. I liked it enough to really find me out. Something I've never been out there. And so they flew me out and I had some ideas. The script that I'd written was too simple, something that they're doing, but they flew me out and some other ideas. They said, okay, try to write that. I went back to New York in a little apartment, sub apartment. And the other positive response to sure. So Jack, who was with producer, and I started in 2019. So now I'm sorry that Jack Lawrence. Because he was a guy who, to my mind, just loved comedy, taking comedy for what it was. And the way I scripted him is no one do now, that street actually built it's like the way to not sure I want some meditation, the risks are not kind of like to shut the door. And I got a call back that he showed his no for not having read the guidance. Yeah. Only for you. I was working at the time I was there for some stuff. And I was sort of in the door, and then I always wanted to do movies, and the first got under one after the so that's longer. Much shorter than that.
Jack Lawrence and Charlie Duffy were kind of managers who were like uncles. Family, and we'll talk more about today when the difference in approaching people. My approach is I always say the keynote is the question that would-be writers ask themselves as they watch television is, who wrote this shit? And then I can do better than that. I mean, do you have those kind of feelings?
I mean, as I said, the thing that got me right into was reading Woody Allen. But yeah, the initial thought was I can't do better than this, but I want to it would be a worthwhile life not spend trying and it's pretty better than being a worker. So and I'd always written, so it was so. But the encouragement from even that meeting from somebody like Jack Rollins saying, I think your stuff is good, was enormous. And he was a good Allen's guy. And
He was caught.
he didn't take me within a very short period of that meeting with Jack, the family ties thing happened. But what he did do, Jack, was I think he gave me the script to Arthur, said, I think you should write a movie like this, and this is your kind of style. And then he also said, I think your stuff is really funny, I want to send you over to Letterman. And who's producing Letterman at the time?
Barry Sand.
Yes, well, who's he actually married to? Yeah, so, yeah, that guy. So I was actually supposed to go over to Letterman to meet with them about writing for them when the family ties thing happened. So Jack was helping me out, and then I saw him later, and he's another, but, I don't know if there's a lot of people like that left in show business, where it's just sort of pure joy of the work. Though I will say, for me, after I finished on Family Ties, I was 29 years old when the show ended, and the show was a big success, a big hit, and I was leaving Marsha and I just because this was bigger than she was primarily. And not because I was so good, but just because I was 29 coming off a hit show, I was being, courted by every agent in Hollywood. Again, they didn't really know my work. They, I was 29, I figured I was signing with a TV deal and go on. So in cartoons and stuff, it was from their POV, looking at these dollar signs. And I met with all those agents. The agent that I wound up going with was the person who reacted to the screenplay that I had written in the purest, clearest way, where the excitement about it was least equal. The idea of earning possible TV money for him, or the excitement. Sorry, oh my God.
It's the same age.
It's the same age I'm calling. No, but that's why I went with him. But I'm still with him. He's unbelievably powerful. But he's the thing I was German. He's gay, but it's like his reaction was everyone else is like to work with you and there's all the stuff that he's so excited about the script. So not that it's advice, but holding as close as you can to people who react for the right reasons is unbelievably important because people will tell you all sorts of things out there. And the Hollywood kids is everywhere. I love so I love more people loving more big fan or whatever. And in this last week, it happens that we love this little thing that Hugh Grant is the main part of it. He played a Hollywood screenwriter. And that's always the Shakespearean moment of betrayal. We love whoever. The sentence before, we're not hiring, we're firing, we're whatever. That's all that part. I have not had that experience. I've been unbelievably lucky when things have worked that I've been involved with. It was, partially the script turned out okay, but the casting worked out and the timing worked out, and it was great. And things that I've done that have not done well, it's entirely my fault. And I say that not to be humble, it's just because the script, in terms of movies, which I know more about than TV because I really haven't done a lot of TV. If you've gotten the script correct and you cast the movie correctly and you remember to take the lens cap off, you will likely make a relatively good film. Is there a difference between Scorsese or Bertolucci directing and somebody who's less skilled? Absolutely, but either Bertolucci or Scorsese or Kaplan or Spielberg or Soderbergh or anyone can make a script that doesn't work, or can make a cast that doesn't work. So my experience has been people, for the most part, let me do what I want to do, and when they didn't work, because I didn't do my job, the studios changed. I had one that I shot here, I was mostly, and it didn't work. And again, it's completely my fault. The studio refuses to ever admit that, but it was an interesting dynamic because they kept saying to me, "Oh God, we cast it different." I said, "No. This is you give me millions dollars to work with, and I didn't do my job. I directed it perfectly well. I just didn't write it correctly. But they can't admit that because they bought the script.
Yeah.
And I remember then when they read the script, they said, we have one if you don't change the word, which is always a terrifying thing to hear. So I don't have, horror stories to tell. When I've blown it hasn't worked out, I did my job relatively well, and we were lucky. And, with Sandy Bullock, Dr. Margaret Grant, or Marissa Tomei, whoever you work with, you get those people, and then it went well. So,
if you don't mind asking, what was it that didn't work?
I was really cool. Did you hear about the Morgans? It was Stephen and Sarah Parker, and they were both great. And I did a really bad job writing that script. I mean, I can tell you why. I'm assuming you haven't seen it, or I hope you haven't, or you don't have not to. But it was simply, it's actually an interesting, maybe an interesting thing. I wanted to write a movie about a married couple. I've been married since I met my wife in college, so I wanted to write a movie about a married couple. And it occurred to me that it might be interesting to write about a couple who's on the verge of divorce, and then something happens where they can't divorce. And so the thought was, what if they were to have seen a murder and they have to go into the witness protection program?
Yeah.
All of which was, it's first of all, the problem with it, it's already slightly contrived territory anyway, but we can I did that, and they witnessed the murder, and then they had to go to a small town in Wyoming in the witness protection program. And one of the problems with that was that I was writing two movies at the same time. So I could do this, I don't know if you know, short form, you've seen 800 movies, probably the most powerful producer in Hollywood, and in the theater also. And it was very smart at the time, but he had done the movie, he saw the film, the problem was to do writing two movies, and they were on parallel tracks that never intersected. You want to write a movie about a married couple who's on the verge of divorce and can't get away from each other. So that's a great setup. You should have had them put in the witness protection program in a small motel in Queens, where they were stuck with each other. So you sent them out to the middle of Wyoming, then you have two grand characters apart from New York in a big city, small town movie, which I could tell your heart wasn't really in. And once you're in that territory, it's very hard to get away from being what you've seen a million times. And I wish I could still do it beforehand. But the bigger failing for me was that movies that I do that have worked, or any of them, they work because characters work. I don't write Die Hard, which I love. I don't write, they're character-based comedies. And if I don't get the characters correct, there's no chance of working. And in that movie, for some reason, just out of laziness didn't work, I didn't really write characters for UNSJ. They were basically playing UNSJ because of the characters. So they wound up being a lot of big city, small town kind of thing. And the studio was totally, we cast this way and this way. Maybe something was a little different, but it wasn't that. It was cliche written and hacky, and I wasn't clear about what I was doing, and I didn't give them characters. So I don't know why I was getting started today. They were letting me off, but I didn't want them to let me off because I knew it was. So, and I think when you're writing, who's what's a good idea? Is it a good idea to write an entire movie about a shark that terrorizes a town? Sounds ridiculous, So how do you know? I mean, I think it's good to have trusted friends and people who you bounce ideas off of and say, I don't love that, and they may be absolutely wrong, but you don't know, and you don't know where the ideas come from. And I thought that idea was a more reality-based idea than the idea of a female FBI agent going into the Miss America pageant before a terrorist attack, which I was so embarrassed about that my agent had to basically fly me out to LA to talk about it because it was a dumb idea. So,
that was your idea.
Yeah, I got it
round up.
I got that idea, and there's another whole story. There's two other people on the writing credits. We were talking writing. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'd be happy to bash them here. They were wrong. But the way that I get it, I was in LA, got a house in LA, and I was in the kitchen cooking something for my son, and Ellen DeGeneres was on television, and she was about to host, I'm going to say the Emmys. And they were asking her, and I wasn't really watching, she was on the background, and they were saying, what will be the hardest part about hosting the Emmys for you? And she said, wearing a dress. As soon as she said that, I thought, well, I'm going to have a hard time wearing a dress. Be a tough female FBI agent, where would she be in this America that? And so it was less than 5 seconds of thinking, and I thought, I don't know. So you don't know where this stuff is going to come from. You don't always know which ones are going to work. But for me, when the characters work, nothing is ever guaranteed success. And great Bill Goldman quote of "Nobody knows anything." I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bill's work, and if you're not, you absolutely should be. I think, but he got that famous amongst many of Bill's famous books like "Follow the Money" and all that. Nobody knows anything. What we mean by that is not that people in Hollywood are stupid, because generally they go to really good schools and they're smart. It's just that it's an entire system built on once upon a time, and nobody does know anything. So Steven Spielberg is made movies that didn't work, and you know, it is what it is. So that way, but
If you were starting today, they're facing, if they say, I want to be a screenwriter, in my estimation, I don't want to dash their hopes, but I made this the TV Writer Studio because I think this is where you start careers in TV. If it were, I want to be a screenwriter, if you were starting today, how would your choice be? Well, you started in television.
I did start in TV, and that was my film school then, because you know when you're on a show like that, you're casting, you're editing the shows, basically the directors work for you, and it's the greatest process in the world because you write stuff, you go down to the stage, you see what works and what doesn't work, and you go back and rewrite. The thing that's interesting to me, and I haven't answered the question, but just the importance of rewriting, which you learn, either you learn it or you will not work. Television is so important. I would say, you know, I mean, Hemingway said the most important tool any writer can have is a built-in shift factor. And I think that it's, don't be easy on yourself. I mean, the thing I would say about any writing is the thing that I love about the industry or whatever is, in a certain sense, it is the most democratic industry I can think of. It doesn't really matter what you guys look like. It doesn't matter where you live. Work history is coming to them on white paper with written by it. And if someone out there thinks it's good or so often thinks that there's any chance that they can make money with it, you are going to need a call. And it's not, I mean, connections are helpful, enormously helpful, but like my friend Andy Scheinman, as Andy Scheinman says, you can't really do a favor for anyone in show business. And what Andy means by it is you can't, of course, do a favor. But ultimately, if you can write, it will come out. And if you can't, there's no amount of favors that will do it. So the joy of it is you guys actually have control of your ability to do it. It's really hard to get people to read stuff, but you know, when people say, "Oh, should I go to LA? Should I not go to LA?" And I do enjoy LA. I go there when I have to, but I was not there. Concentrate on the work. It will. Your script will refer to other people. It will be the most important script in your life. Take your time with it. Show it to people who you trust, who are smart, who like you enough to tell you the truth. If you can get a reading of the script, that means your family, your relatives, read it out loud, because when you hear it the first time out loud, it's going to be very different than what you're hearing in your head. It's going to be longer or boring. Things you thought were funny or dramatic are not going to work. Something you didn't think was going to work will work. I actually have control over huge amount of whether or not it will happen for you. It will be very hard to get to the right, and it will take a long time. But as much as you need to network and do all that, writers write. And when I left, that I go to lunch with people. And I finally realized that's their job. They go back and they tell them, I went to lunch with Marc Lawrence, but I was right. I wanted to right. After the show, the faces and the show, and I can talk to the writers. And you also have to be totally comfortable with that lifestyle of being either by yourself or with a writer partner. I think writers write almost every day. And Woody Allen says writers write the way institutions people basket weave. And it's absolutely spot on. It's like you can't help yourself. Not writing is harder than writing. Like if I go away with my family vacation, I'm sure it's a tremendous deliberate effort not to write. So
I constantly, one horse that I have beaten to death is that I tell people that when I go to recruit is that you will be a better writer here than you know. And I don't know how much I call LA the Scranton of the 21st century. It is the total company town, and I think that the influence of what they need, what is in the zeitgeist, is almost overpowering out there, and there's no connection. There's no human connection. I was thrilled that you were here and that you were doing that. I think this is just experientially, it's such a good place to be.
I mean, listen to the voices around you, the stories that you guys, and when you get something to somebody out there, and there's lots of different ways to do it. I'm sure you discussed that. The advantage to television, it always seems to me, writing-wise, was that you can write, a broad city, or you can write, a Louis C.K. script, and so it's into a point. The people who you will get into, including agents, it's a very easy translation for them to see, do they get the show? Does it sound like the show? Is this something that I can sell to the show? Can I present this to the producer? That's really key. It's very tangible, very fungible for them. So to me, that's the big advantage of writing for television. It's like the company about producing stuff, and you're going and saying, I can fit into your company. Writing a screenplay, obviously, you're creating something from the ground up, and as a reading experience, it means they've got more pages, and they've got to learn characters, where if they're reading, whatever you like, Parks and Rec, well, that's not or whatever, they discover characters. So that's an advantage, I think, for writing.
The way the business has changed is it's very tough to get spec scripts read. You want to see who they are, what their voices are. That's what we push. And there are very good writers in this room, very good writers. Writing every day is another matter. Not for you. Okay. But
it doesn't necessarily, I'm sure there's geniuses who don't write every day, but I find that when you get into. But I think people out there want to read. I mean, it's very hard to get your stuff out there. And all the cliches use everyone you know and every uncle who knows somebody, whatever those things are all, I think totally valid. Assistants read. Right. Assistants on the deck. You don't want to try to get a script to Jeremy Zimmer. He's not going to read it if he doesn't know who you are unless for his kid. But the person on Jeremy's desk, and everybody on the desk of an agent is there to become an agent. And they're all people roughly your age who come out of really good schools who want to be agents. Not something I understand, but there's really hard to be. I think that's what they do. They go on those desks and they move around agencies, so they can be on different people's desks, different aspects of the business, and then when they have enough desks, they become an agent, a junior agent, but they're now an agent. But those people on those desks read. and they're all 23, and they're watching what you're watching and seeing what you're doing, and they're your generation. And if they read something they like, they will tell somebody on another desk who will tell an agent who will take a look at it. And that happens. And a lot of it, this is going to sound old-fashioned, I don't know if this is true, because I can only talk about my experience. Part of what got my script, I think, by Jack, was the cover letter that I wrote. You don't know if people still write cover letters. If you try to get it to somebody on the desk at UTA or CAA or ITM or Endeavor or wherever you write a cover letter, make it short, and write it really well. Don't write a generic cover letter. The very first words that they read from you will be their first experience of you as a writer. So if you're a comedy writer, without trying to start telling 100 jokes, show your personality. If you're, again, using Bill Goldman, who I think was our greatest American screenwriter ever, if you read Bill's book, Adventures in the Screen Trade, which I absolutely recommend to everyone, you do yourself a disservice if you don't read the book. It's still, to me, the truest book about Hollywood. Everything Bill writes, his stage directions are unbelievably compelling. They just believe. Do you guys know which casting is it? That's Bill wrote. And when you read stage directions, that's Sundance. Like Sundance, you drive Sundance, says he may not have been the greatest gunslinger in Western history West, but he may have. It's just that kind of thing. It's like, I'm in, I'm reading this. So write a cover letter to and say, I'm nobody, I know you're on someone's desk, I've written this thing, and make it charming and quick and funny, and send out 200 of those. If people read it, that's why I say the most important part of this is what you're putting on the paper. It's not the connection. Someone will read it. It may take a long time, but someone will read it. And I promise you, somebody read, if you've written the pilot to, Louis Show or Seinfeld or The Office, wherever you got it to, that would be enough. It would start. The process would start. So the largest part of it is in your hands. And I find when I talk to people, it's very easy to start getting caught up in the networking of it, which I understand. But ultimately, the great thing is if they read it and they want to like it, because they're already on 30 scripts, whether doing Disney now. And I'm telling you, like the executive I'm working with, they go home on the weekend. Like I said, I emailed them that, and so I'm going to not send you my pages on the weekend. So I said, thank you for that. And they sent me back an email and said, what weekend? They go home and they have the pages on the movies they're doing, on the TV shows they're doing, and stuff that's been submitted to them. And ultimately, you don't get a lot of pages, by the way, to get to have them. If they read 5 pages and they're not into it, it's probably closed. But if they read it and they like it, it's the best part of the day. Yeah. Everybody, and especially the younger people who, your generation, everybody wants to be able to pick up the script and go into their boss's office and say, read this. So you should feel good about it. It's a great, in that sense, it's the most wide open industry, I think, in the world. It's in your hands. So, questions?
So I'm curious about that's the working relationship that you had with some actors that you've worked with frequently, Sandra Bullock and Grant. When you're writing these films, are you writing these characters specifically for them? And what's that process?
It varies from film to film and from actor to actor and how we get along. With someone like Sandy, I'd written a movie called Forces of Nature. And without Sandy in mind at all, or without Ben Affleck in mind, who wound up being the people starting the film. Sandy was cast in the film. We met, we liked each other, we hit it off, and then I had this idea for Miss Congeniality. So I knew her at that point, but I didn't tell her about the script. I wrote it, but I didn't write it with her in mind, and she read it. From that point on, once you have a relationship, the other movie, that couple movies that we did together, it was the kind of thing where I pick up the phone and say, what do you think about this? And that kind of thing. I've done 4 movies with Hugh Grant, and it's now the same sort of thing. I will call you and say, this idea, and if he hates it, I may still write it. I just won't write it for you, which obviously is a very specific voice. If I say, okay, he doesn't want to do it, I'm going to see if I can get George Clooney to do it. I won't write it with the sort of Britishisms that I write for Hugh. And if Sandy, if I call Sandy and say, it's not for me, or I'm doing 2 other movies and whatever, then I might vary it slightly because I know her well enough to write towards her a little bit. I do like having a model in my head. The movie I'm writing now for Disney, I have an actress in my head. I don't know if she knows I exist, and we certainly never met, and I'm not going to tell anyone, but that's who I'm writing. For some people, some writers, that's very helpful. You just assemble your dream cast. I want it to be Jennifer Lawrence and Seth Rogen, whatever, and write as if you're going to get them. The thing I will say, though, when you do that, I find it helpful to do that. Actors often don't want you to write what you perceive their personas are. I remember working with Steve Martin, and he said, just don't write it Steve Martin, don't write the wild, wacky, they all like to feel that they're playing characters, even if it's very close to who they are. So, but I do like using it as a model, and if it's an actor I know and somebody I've worked with, I will call them and often find out if they're interested in an idea, just so I don't personally get really invested. Now that I know them, it could be, whoever. Just working with Allison Jen and J.K. Simmons and both of them. I want to write something for Allison, and she doesn't like it because I'll get something. So it's very
This way, how do you handle getting notes, being a writer and director? I imagine, like, in terms of your review for what's going on, you're trying to.
Those actors.
Yeah.
If I'm good at anything, I'm probably not. I'm good at working with actors. I love actors. I understand the desire, the urge to do that. It's to act.
Oh, okay.
I have no ability to do it. It's amazing to me. I love them, and we were talking about this lunch. The most important thing for actors, in my experience, is that no matter how big they are, I'm talking about people who are really famous and all names, are ultimately wildly insecure and terrified of being embarrassed and terrified of not being good and terrified that they're going to be the ones who will be moving and terrified they're not going to work again. Never underestimate the insecurity of actors. And so what they really want in a director is someone they can trust. They don't want you to be their best friend all the time. They don't want you to tell them they're great all the time. They want to know that they're in good hands. That's when they relax. If they think, he knew what he's doing, or that was a horrible take, and he's laughing and thinks it's good, that's where you're in trouble. So for me, I love what they do. I'm always a harmless person on a set of 100 people. I have an ulcer, but no one knows that. I stay inside usually. I'm kind of really clear, and I'm also really open. The thing that I also find with actors is, before I started directing, because I was writing and producing, so I was on the set. It was always interesting to me if an actor said, I can't make this work, or even something as simple as, why would I sit down on the line? I would see directors, it's great. And it's, oh man, that's a horrible answer. Because either you can justify to them why it's good to sit down on the line, or there's a possibility they're right. And they may have a better idea. And you have to have the self-confidence to be open and to listen and then say something like, we'll try one that way. I don't quite skip, we'll try one, but let's get what I want to do first, or whatever it is. And I also have no poker face on a set, which is one thing good you do. It's called music and lyrics. And there was a scene with Grant and Barrymore and a young actress, Amy Bennett. And there was, you did take that, it sort of taught me into trying something and blocking out whatever that I didn't like. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I said, let's try it. And they did the take, and I walked over and calmly said, I don't know why I said this. That was the worst thing possibly anyone has ever done. And I realized after I said that, the look on their face, they were really crushed. And now you're insecure, but she always said, if you don't have to say anything, I can see in your face what you like and didn't like. But I think you've got to be honest and clear, and you've got to know that you know what you're doing. And So, your relationship with any actor is going to be different than Sandy. It will be in the middle of the set with 150 people there. She will yell out, "This line sucks." And I would say, well, maybe it's the performance. So we'll go back and forth. People know that we know each other well, and that I'm not in the least offended, and we'll talk it through. And usually comedic telling each other that kind of way. Of course, and certain actors will ask you, they'll want to know why, and they really want to know, why does this scene exist? What's my motivation? Whereas with someone like Hughes like that, if you ask him a question about the scene and you can't answer it, he'll do it because he's a very professional actor, brought up in the British tradition, and he will never listen to you again in the same way. You've lost it. Certain actors don't want about motivations. Go to Sandy and explain the origins of the scene, the etymology. How many want to say? So she's a genius in that. So you learn your actors, but I think it's honesty and self-assurance, and that's why I like being a director, because I know it's correct. And you can be wrong a lot. Every actor I work with has brought something to the thing. They'll show me something, and often if they're good, they'll know the character. If not better, they'll know them in a way that you don't. But before I do the movie, I write out bios for every single character. And I will sit down with every actor, every day player, somebody say that they were the major part. And I will say, want to know this? Because some people don't, they want to construct it. But if they want to know, I will tell them how many brothers and sisters they had, and where they went to college, and what they like and stuff, because I need to know it, even if it never comes up in the film. Because certain things, like, I don't know if you guys saw the movie, but in order to make that film, I thought it was such a silly idea. In order to make the film mean anything to me, what I thought the film was about was that Sandy's character, mom, her fictional mom, Sandy's character's name of the movie is Gracie, which is my daughter's name, no coincidence, she called me. But so Gracie's mom had been an FBI agent and had been killed in the line of duty. And that was both why Gracie wanted to be an FBI agent and why she had such a chip on her shoulder, why she was much quicker to hit or fight somebody than have a conversation, why she had trouble with relationships with guys and all that kind of stuff. And it was written into the script. And as a matter of fact, the movie starts with a little playground sequence of Sandy's character as a little girl on the playground, and she gets to the next scene that was shot with Sandy in the principal's office being, yelled at, and her mother shows up wearing an FBI outfit, and the mother yells at the principal, and she's proud of her daughter for having stood up and having fought. And there's other references throughout the picture, her mom and dialogue. We shot it all, and Sandy and I think thought that was the movie that we were making. It was really about another a daughter and her relationship to her now mother, and how that played out in her life. And we showed the first preview to the audience, and they just couldn't care less about the mother. It's like, we get it, she's tough and we love her, and we don't need to do this, is dragging it down and slow, and we need to hear her talk about it. And we slowly whittled it away. So there's nothing, there's one tiny thing in the movie you have to look for it to know. And so it's not in the picture, but Sandy's performance, that character is a character who's trying to avenge her mother's death, and her whole life is a reaction to that. And without having written that, I don't think she plays it the same way. And the discussions we have on set are not the same discussions. So I think it's really important to know when an actor asks you, why am I doing this? It's a very long answer to what it is. When an actor asks you why, you should have an answer. You may not be right, they may have a different take on it, and they do it 2 different ways, but the directors who go wrong are the ones, to my mind, who don't have an answer. And they're often the directors who come from film school, and they learn how to, and they're really good with lenses, and they're really into CGI, and they can block a scene, and they forget sometimes that the most important part of movie making, it's all just an extension of drawings on a cave wall. It's telling a story. And if you forget, why are we doing this scene? Why are we here with these cameras, 150 people walking off the street? If you don't answer to that, then you probably shouldn't be shooting the scene.
I had that same kind of discussion with Peter in school. And as the film, and when he showed up, he knew every line in the film, not just everyone.
That's, I think it's wonderful the British actors on it.
And as we went along, he filled in this fictional character with his own background. And Elaine Stritch the same way. She had so much history, and a lot of it was caught up with the good God grade. So she folded all of that into her character. So
you also have to know when sometimes there is such thing as bad behavior on the set, and sometimes somebody just found out that they're being cheated on, or they're cheating on somebody, or they just lost a lot of money, or they just lost a part, or their other movie that they shot 3 months ago just came out and is getting killed. Sometimes then that starts to manifest itself in what you're seeing on the set, and you have to be able to sort of suss that out. But I think it's mostly about them feeling like you know what you're doing and the choices you're making are clear. And I've had wonderful experiences with actors. There's only been two, I'm not going to mention names, both are, I have to like take a side. And in both cases, well, actually, no, not one. One, she's just the entire movement, and I kind of, but, and you have to be strong that way too. If they sense fear and insecurity, whatever is driving them suddenly goes into hyperspace and just run. I love actors, and so it's easy for me. I can't really do something to meet that. So I really, and also my heart to know what you're doing and your control of all these laptops, your career is under your control. These poor people and show up and run the city and go to casting halls and daughters do not see it, and you never know why you get part. You go in and say, it seems like me, I thought I read well, whatever. And no matter how strong a person you are, you're rejected. You're in the room, they see your face, they're basically saying, not you. It's.
You ever tell people? When we were casting, especially series, and I knew I was not going to hire the actor who came, I told them. Because I know what they do, they go home and then they call and I said, listen, you were great. This is not the way we're going with that. I want you to go home and fret over this, but you're not going to get this.
I've never told anyone in advance. I've had to fire 2 people from TV. After Family Ties, I had a series on the air, and I had to fire 2 different people on 2 different shows, which was so traumatic for me. It was a horrible, horrible thing. But they don't have their lives in their hands quite the way that you guys do. I know that it doesn't seem like that to you right now, sitting in this room. But what you want to do is going to be on a piece of paper, and you have control over that in a way that they can't have control. And you can, physically, things can happen to you, and you can look less attractive than you all look right now, and it still won't matter to the people who hire you as a writer, whereas if you're an actor, and it's a tough.
You ever long to go back to TV?
I miss TV theoretically.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't really know what TV is like now. To be the last show that I had on the air was a show called Pride and Joy with Jeremy Piven and Caroline Ray. It was after, in the 90s, we were on an NBC after Frasier. And that's the last time I was really in a room running a show. So I remember, put it this way, on movies, when I am the writing staff part, I've often thought, God, it'd be great to be sitting around with 8 or 10 really friendly people having a great time. But when I was in the room doing it, I always kind of had a desire to go off by myself and shut the door because so I do. I have a couple of ideas, and if they happen on TV, that'd be great. But if they don't, and I don't know what the world it is these days, and there's so much on.
Yeah.
I can't follow. I mean, we were lucky. When Family Ties was on, 40 to 50 million people watched each episode. So there's just no version of that ever happening again. So there's shows on that are very successful that not only have I never seen, I've never heard of. But it's great. It's more opportunity for you guys.
Facebook dates, very nice.
What's your day-to-day like between projects?
It's, fear, brooding, whining. It's hard. I mean, again, to quote Bill Goldman, I've been lucky enough to become a really good friend. And Bill always said, make sure you're started on your next thing. Even if you have a contract or anything else, be writing while you're waiting. If you hand in a draft or you're waiting for the next, be writing. Don't sit and wait by the phone. But, it's always hard, and Hollywood has changed dramatically. I was very lucky for a period of time, and had a lot of movies made and stuff. It's gotten much harder to get less movies being made. They pay way less for the most part. And to some extent, we're all freelance artists, and you don't really. I mean, some people do get studio, and I've had some. I'm sure you have that. Lovely, but they don't really exist much anymore. And everybody's kind of a freelance artist. So I'm never not thinking of the next idea. And it's great, sort of reflecting on what I was saying earlier. It's great if you can be writing what turns out to be a great idea, but I don't think you can wait for it. I think you've got to write. And even if what you're writing doesn't work, I've had these so many times writing something. There was one scene or one character or one little dynamic that I liked, and the script basically didn't work. It's amazing how often that winds up coming back somewhere. Either, I can use that, or that is a piece of this. So I think writing is a muscle that you just have to keep exercising. So there's never a day unless there's something with my kids or something else going on that I don't go down and write.
Do you usually write remotely, or do you have an office that you go to?
I have an office in the building I live in, and I go down and write when I'm on set of a movie. Obviously, then I'm usually revising as we go, and I'm in the trailer or actually just sitting on the set with a laptop and writing, because I rewrite until they stop giving me money. So even when I'm on the set, I don't mean for me personally, but so that I can keep shooting. So. Sandy will joke about that, like they take the computer away from it because there's always going to be new lines the next day. Because I think it's TV training a little bit. It's never good enough, and you keep going until you're out of food, whatever. But I go downstairs, and like right now, I'm working on something for Disney, so I know what I have to do, and it goes back and forth and that kind of stuff. But I sit down. And most writers have a list of ideas where they literally write them down or jot, thing we Alan always says, I've got the list here, and that one won't work, that won't work, that won't work. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of what you do. And then sometimes, like with this geniality thing, I had no special interest in pageants. It's not like a world that I thought a lot about. It was complete luck that at that moment I was in the kitchen, heard that, and then the idea was that was nothing, that was 10 seconds before I had the idea. So sometimes those little moments will happen, or you'll be watching television. John used to write a lot of music with the TV on because he would hear these little things would filter in. A commercial for Kellogg's Cornflakes came, good morning on Saturday. So wherever you get it from, you're reading something, you hear a conversation. I try to get myself to go to things like bar mitzvahs and stuff. So to go to thinking somehow this will be research, I'll find something here that can help you get through life.
And you got to hang on with all of the Jews.
There's a lot of. There was definitely, when we were family ties, not the whole staff, everybody was a Jew from New York. Somebody was a Jew from Detroit, so that was exciting. But the whole issue, of course, about diversity and what happens in Hollywood now, and to me, it's just going to be, allowing more voices to come in and allowing people to tell their stories. Everybody, that's what's great about Woody Allen. Again, I'm harping, but somebody had, I think, mentioned the lack of diversity in movies, and his reaction to it was, he said, look, politically, as liberal as can be, and support only Democrats and only liberals. But art is not a democracy. And there are experiences of people that I don't have, and I don't feel I can do with authenticity. And I think if I do it, I'm going to be doing bad art. It's not going to represent them. It's not going to represent me. It's not going to represent the world that I know. And there's no reason for me to be doing it. So I think it's about bringing in, opening the world to more voices and more people who have different experiences. And I think that's how you get those stories. You know, even within the world of comedy writing, like, you know, Joe Apatow, Joe writes a certain kind of comedy and does a certain thing and does it great. I don't do exactly that kind of thing, and if I were to do it, I think I could ape some of the stuff that does pretty well, but it's always going to be a second version of what Judd does. It was like the Larry David thing we were talking about everybody after Seinfeld came out. Every single script that I read, I still do in TV at the time, so I was hiring writers, and every single script was a Seinfeldian knockoff of 4 pages of that dialogue. Did you get the thing? What thing? Did I get the thing? And you know, like 4 pages of that. And when Larry does it, it works, and there's a reason that it works, and everybody else is trying to do the second version of that. So,
And everybody, invariably in Woody Allen's films, there is a Woody Allen character when he's not in it. And every actor tries to do Woody.
right.
The only one I think who really succeeded was in
Owen Wilson's his rhythms as an actor are so different, and yes, so I think that's true. But you know, who you are is going to come out on paper, and that's honestly what they want to do. Because and if you're writing a spec script for you know, Broad City or Silicon Valley or whatever you like, it's going to be your version. You're going to be interested in an aspect of it, or characters telling a version of the story that they wouldn't exactly tell. And at least when I was on the show, that's what we wanted to see. We could do the ones we were going to do. When somebody came in with another, oh, that's so cool, we would not have thought of that story, or even if we thought of that story, we would not have told it that way. So it's all about, you know, finding that. I think finding your voice and finding a script that you can, writing one that you feel is you, represented you, is the hardest single thing that you will do. If you can do that, or get close to it, because I think also the question of perfection can drive you insane. I mean, I honestly, I said this to the Disney guys today, and I'm really convinced if I gave you the first act of Casablanca, you would come back with notes. And I know it's true, and they did, because that's their job. Their job is not to say great, you know. So, but coming up with that spec script is enormously important. You may have to write 10 to get to the one that works. That's why I say be hard on yourself. Show it. I mean, you've got this unbelievable resource, and I'm assuming you read their stuff, right? So you've got an unbelievable leg up in having something like Norman here. But be hard on yourself, and if you don't think something works, it probably doesn't work. And don't. I do this all the time. I just handed Disney some pages, and there was a section that didn't quite work, kind of massaging it. And if they're good, they'll go right to it. We didn't get this part. This is unclear. Yeah, because it's unclear to me.
It's funny that you keep mentioning Bill Goldman, because I just actually wrote this a few months ago.
The book or the novel or
the book. And so, but in his prologue, he talks about trying to put together the pre-production of the movie itself, which was fantastic. It was sort of great, his explanation.
Yeah.
He said something, because I worked on sets before, so he said that the set work itself, the shooting of it, it's just like building a car. It's not really the hard part. The hard part is the beginning, like the pre-production, trying to get everything together. So when you do your movies, do you have a hand in pre-production? Like,
yeah, unfortunately for me, I mean, somebody told me before I started directing, I might have actually been Rob Reiner, who said the important thing is to look like you know the answer. If you're wrong, you're wrong. They have to, you know, but I became a director because I was a writer, and I was and then I was writing on sets and watching directors work, doing my work. And it becomes, for certain people loved it, but Bill, for example, has no desire ever to direct. Doesn't like actors, doesn't like being around the set, likes being in his apartment, no desire to ever do it. And yeah, he can't stand it. So But if you do direct, every single decision from what color curtains do you want to where we can park the cars, so they're out of the shot, is yours. So it's a strange life. There's nothing that doesn't flow directly to you. So every abstract production, every scouting, trip, every casting decision, all the music in the film, the color of the movie. I mean, it's where the myth of the director is born, which I think is another pet peeve.
And if you can get next to somebody who's doing it and observe it and trail them, talking, work for a director and see how they make these decisions, what they're based on.
So what's the medium for like writing for something where you're not the director? Like what's that?
TV or movie or I mean, I think it's out of, TV used to be, at least in the original, the directors were pretty much for hire. And they did what we
Except
told
Jim
them.
Burrows.
Except Jim Burrows, right. Who was such a lovely man, at least my experience, that he's talking and working with me anyway, if you had, but I hadn't brought as much to the show, But I think you have to have a little bit of those, if you're going to write, again, these things, the part of your control is what's in your computer and what you're doing. And the best argument you can make for how you want it done is to do that as well as possible. Leave them as little room to interpret. Most directors are not geniuses. I mean, somehow this whole elevation directed to brains, the combination of brain surgery and theory of relativity is beyond. I've met a lot of directors, and it's the whole gamut. There are brilliant, and the brilliant ones, Steven's not a brilliant director costs only because he's brilliant, which he is. It's an incredible eye. You sit down with Steven, it's all story.
Yeah.
You're not talking about what lens am I shooting, it's on, how I'm going to track it, whatever. It's all story all the time. That's what makes him a director. So that when you get on the set, 90% of your work is done. And you know that great quote, the most exciting day of your life is your first day on a movie set, and the most boring day of your life is your second day on a movie set. It's completely true. I know when people come to visit me on sets, they're really excited.
Yeah.
And we see, look, whatever, you can see them get there, and it's like, I'm looking around, and this is great. And slowly, as they're like, they're there, and the first 15 minutes, they're just like shaking, and half an hour, so like, after 2 hours, we're going to go. So, it's unbelievably boring. It is building a house very slowly, out of sequence. But for you, as a writer, the best thing you can do to protect yourself is make that as much of a self-enclosed world as possible. So it explains itself. There aren't vacuums. The characters are clear. I did teach at Columbia for one that they asked me to do, and I this last movie I wrote was about a screenwriter who teaches. And the thing that I said to them was, they had taken, I guess, some courses in Columbia where somehow it becomes a thing where you weren't supposed to, in stage directions, describe characters with adjectives. Like it was limiting somehow that that should be something the actor should explore or whatever. I said, look, that may be true, though not in any experience I've ever had in over 30 years. But having said that, while you're in this class, you've got to group 3 adjectives for every character. When you introduce a character, and you can take them out if you want, but if you can't tell me, then we're in trouble. And they don't have to be incredibly conceptual, metaphorical. I mean, I can give you 3 adjectives for Hamlet right now, which are pretty, vacillating, unsure, and the genius of it is that Shakespeare wrote it in the depth of the portrayal, obviously, but I think when you guys are writing your scripts, it's all that character note. Obviously, if you're writing a show that's on the air, they've given you an enormous amount, so you know those characters, so you just shape them. But if you're creating something from the beginning, you can't give enough. I mean, I can give 2 pages of description, but you need to know who the characters are. I see a lot of scripts from younger writers where the script will be pretty good, and there's some character based on them who's almost invariably the weakest character in the script. I don't know what it is about self, but obviously Woody Allen writes a version of himself, but I get a lot of scripts and see, well, this character's kind of fun, whatever. The person who the movie is about is both undefined and uninteresting. I don't know what that phenomenon is. Probably most of us know ourselves really well. And I think, for me, there's some great quote, and I want to be really educated and smart, and I don't think it's like, I'm going to say it's Shelley, but I'm paraphrasing badly, but the quote is basically, when we argue with other people, we create noise. When we argue with ourselves, we create poetry. So I think it's finding yourselves in actors. Like I did a movie called 2 Weeks Notice, and when Sandy read the script, she said, "Oh, I get it, I'm playing you." And it was definitely true. She was kind of brooding and neurotic and whatever, and she said, "Oh, I see what it is." Now, I didn't think that's what I was doing, but she sussed that out. So I would say, make sure the characters are vibrant, make sure they're up, and make sure they don't have to be recognizable people in the world, because I people, there's always that defense if you read a script and it doesn't work with something. This doesn't happen. Yeah, we used to get that on TV all the time and say, "Well, who cares?" But this is a documentary. It's great. I mean, it needs to be true to itself. But Star Wars also didn't happen, but I believe it on some level. So, and I think this is truly great drama or a suspense or thing, or whether you're trying to write Iron Man or whatever it is. It's almost all character. And if you ask people about movies they love, ask somebody about, I love Die Hard. What do you love about Heat? I think the thing that always comes to mind, they'll tell you, is some character-based moment. It's a moment from the film. It's not special effects or whatever. They're almost always picking out a moment or a line or something. So I think that concentrating on that. So when I'm doing the movie, I have to be responsible for all those things any director does. But the hardest part of directing for me is forgetting what you're there for. Because there's so many things like that. We can get the trucks in if it's a special effect. How many actors do we need? Is this thing going to be in the background? How many cameras are we shooting this with? You have to do all those things. It's easy. We've got those right to think. I had an experience on one film that I wasn't directing. I won't name the film or the director, but it's one you guys know probably. And shot the scene. And I was there on the set, but I was in my trailer script. Yeah, I was in the trailer rewriting the next scene. Because I was and I wasn't on the set when they shot. And it was a fairly straightforward 2-person scene. I came the next day to see the Dallas when people still all went to Dallas and they projected it in the film. And I saw the scene, and oh my God, you missed it. You completely missed it because he gave direction to the star to react a certain way. And based on that reaction, it completely obliterated the entire scene, the reason that the scene was there, and the scene was a building block in a relationship. And I watched him think, "Is that the only way you ever shot it?" He said, "Yes." Well, we absolutely have to go back and do it again. We're dead. There's no.
If you had been there when he was shooting it, and you said, "How long is that?"
Yeah.
What would it?
That would have been no problem because on this particular movie, the star and I were in sync. But that's if you're a writer on set, it can be one of the most unpleasant experiences. Because, well, the late on sets, directors are really threatened by writers, and some writers on sets have the wrong idea, which is that if you didn't say exactly what I wrote, something's wrong. I don't care about my dialogue for the most part. If it sounds either better or it sounds realer, I'm script to me is a guideline to what we want to do. But a lot you get writers and says, you say, and then the director's like, "Right, this person out of here can't direct." So that's can be a politically really miserable experience.
We have a lot of directors in here because they direct web which is a great thing, which is a terrific thing. And so it's a good training group.
It's fantastic. It's all the fact that you guys have access to doing that. Also, I know it seems like an impossible world to get into, a closed society, and it is to some extent. But you guys do have the advantage and access to things that we have no conception of or couldn't dream of. Where you can write a small script, do a 5-page thing, and put it up on YouTube, and if it works, and somebody will see it. I mean, every agency, except on GTA, one of the biggest, they have people who do nothing. Their job is to be online all day looking for that stuff and finding finding it before the other agency.
Yeah, that was
so
good.
I find that person.
To the landlady, the Will Ferrell, and say, boy, what an invitation. Get that kind of.
Yeah, and then we will have 12 deals later that week. So
The other thing is to see Adam McKay go from Anchorman to one and two, and to The Big Short, which I thought was
he's a super smart guy.
fantastic.
And you know, I mean, there's that working in Hollywood, which you guys shouldn't be worried about. The people who are trying to make a transition from a certain kind of, you know, I know several actors who are comedy actors who desperately want to do with Steve Carell. Is why can't, you know, I want to make that transition to more serious, is all that kind of stuff. But I think it's all about telling the story. And if you're doing a minute and a half web thing, it's still the same thing. It's still telling the story. You know, it's there's everything changes. Comedy's completely different. Movies are completely different than they were when I was a kid. And on the same level, I would say absolutely nothing changes. You know, if I sit down and watch Roman Holiday with my daughter, who's 18 and graduated high school, she's gone in 5 minutes in love with it. She's smart, and she's an actress, and she is a performer, and she's doing web series and that kind of stuff, and she worships Sarah Silverman and spends a lot. So it's a different language and vocabulary than what we grew up with, but ultimately stuff that doesn't work. I believe that to be true.
I don't want to carry you out of here, but we have one more question.
As a writer, how do you differentiate between a problem that can be solved with the rewriting and a problem that needs to be solved in the directing?
That's a good question. I mean, to me, it's always the same. I've never had a problem that was a blocking or shooting problem for the most part. I mean, I've had shooting problems where I want to do something visually. I'm not quite sure how to pull it off, and then that relationship with the DP, and how can we, where I don't want to break it up into coverage. I want to do it in one. I like to use as little coverage as possible, just because in the scripts very little happening. People basically talking to each other the whole time, so I want to keep that flow alive, and better for the actors to bounce off each other than for me cutting it up. But I've never had a problem that wasn't a right problem, a real problem on set, except, and I've never had a visual, it wasn't ever a problem like we're not shooting it correctly. That was a problem. Sometimes we don't shoot it correctly, but that's never what stops the scene from working. It's either a writing problem or sometimes it's an acting problem. There's one movie, without giving you any names, where in the moment where an actress is supposed to get sort of emotional about something, and this is an actress who doesn't like going to emotion. Actors like doing different things, and they all have a bag of tricks. The same way writers often have a bag of tricks, and you feel comfortable going to them. And when you push them out of the bag of tricks, they're often not as happy. And when who they are, they will fight you on it and ask you to justify it. Why would I get emotional with this? Why would I? Those are the moments that, to me, I live for those. People hate those. And directors who I think don't succeed, just do it. Just get be great. Get like emotional, like cry, you know. And those are the moments when I'll like say, let's everybody just go away for 15 minutes. I'll sit in an actor and talk. And I'll find out if it's because something else is going on in their lives. It's one of those people that are just in a bad mood or not. You know? But often it's explaining to them and justifying it. And maybe I've written something incorrectly or haven't really given them the reason to get emotional. If I'm asking them to get emotional about something, but I haven't built it for them, I'm wrong. That's my fault. And I'm going to make that work. But I've had moments where they don't want to do it because they want you to push them to it. And I've had moments where, do you guys know the term playing the result? Or sometimes what happens is an actor can get so familiar with the script and so familiar with their lines that they are here, but the words are here. They've gotten to this place, but they're still here. So in one speech, in one moment like that, I went over to someone and said, you are playing the emotion 2 pages from now. We haven't gotten there. You haven't had this thought yet. This is a thought to you because we've rehearsed it and you've read it 20 times. You've kind of go, oh yeah, I got that. So sometimes it's the simplest thing of reminding an actor of what the moment is. But for me, every single problem is a writing problem. And I have shut down the set, which is a scary thing to do if you're making a Warner Brothers and it's costing, $2,000 a day, whatever, to say, this is me. I'm not going to fix this. Here, I got to go and write it. But I think that's the joy of being a writer-director, that you can do that. And it's also why I think, I don't know if you guys are anybody, mostly director or it's a combination or whatever.
Well, mostly writers,
but
writers and the showrunner.
Yeah, I mean, writing is the key to the entire thing. I mean, that credit on movies that you see that comes up as a film by, and which basically is a DGA creation. You are accorded that credit on your second movie. No matter how horrendous your first movie might have been, if you get to your second movie, you're entitled to a film by credit, which the DGA created, I think, purely to make it clear that it was a director's meeting and not a writer's meeting. So when I do a film, I've never taken that credit and will never take that credit. And I actually have to petition the director to get a credit off of the film. But it's all page. What's the guy's name? Is it Richard Rath? Wrote with Capra. I'm sorry, I should know his name. Anyway, there's one Frank Capra, who you guys, is the one I watched, and Mr. Steve goes to Washington, one of the most famous directors in Hollywood history, who's the movies were successful. People started talking about the Capra touch, the way they talk about Steve, the Spielberg, and he got in a fight with some writer, Capra, and the writer, I think his name is Richard Riskin, and the writer just took a blank piece of paper, put it on the table, see, put the Capra touch on that. So it's all after fade in, it's terrifying. It's entirely, not entirely, but it's mostly in your control. When you've got something that works, it's good. You may have to send out 400 of them and make 1,000 calls to somebody somewhere, I believe, is going to read it. And your job is to brought it to the point that when they read it, they want to tell their boss, the next person they know. And don't get discouraged. That's the great thing about this. You don't need anyone else right now to do. You do have feedback and stuff, but you don't need to get headshots taken or need casting directors or dress up or the wardrobe for writers. This is it.
Okay, dress them. Okay, I'm thinking about it.
I mean, you don't have to. You're not going to have to spend any money on fashion and stuff. This is perfect media attire.
Just for technically, I've been wondering this for a while, maybe you guys, since what's the difference between a screenplay and a teleplay?
I think people just use screenplay for movies and teleplay. Yeah, but I mean, I get there. You never refer to movies and teleplay. It's just
Sometimes when it's a story by credit, it's separate from the teleplay by. You got to differentiate between the two sometimes.
Yeah, they say that shit all the time.
That's a political writer field in control of all of those. And I had one experience which was awful with that. But yeah, those are horrible. But that's the Writers Guild affiliation between who did what. If you go to see a movie and it says written by Norman Steinberg and Marc Lawrence, it means that Norman and I work together. No, ampersand, yes. If the ampersand between our names, you know that we work together. If it's Norman Steinberg, A&D Marc Lawrence, it means that Norman wrote a draft and then I wrote a draft and we probably never met or spoke about it. So when you're watching a movie, that is actually.
Is this actually written down somewhere?
Yeah.
If you see more than one writer, if it's an ampersand, that means they were a team that wrote together. AMD, they were separate. The new Star Wars film. So you will see it. JJ and Kathleen wrote together, and there's an ampersand there, I think. And then I forget his name, the fellow who wrote Little Miss Sunshine wrote the first draft. And
Michael Arndt.
Yeah, Michael Arndt, and there's an AMD between. So his draft was separate, and then he decided not to work with that draft, but he wrote the first one. So it's a little clue if you care about those kind of things.
So that's interesting, the politics of it.
It's all controlled by the writers. You don't get rights to make. If more than one writer worked on a thing, it is the Writers Guild that has the power to decide who gets what credits. They don't care what the studio says or the actors say or you say. they have contractual
Yeah,
rights.
billing and stuff, like whose name goes first on
I wrote my favorite year from a script that was given to me, called In Like. And I wrote 10 drafts over 4 years. And there's not a word. This other guy does not have a word in the script. And the story is different. Every single character is different. And he gets story credit. Story credit is very important because it's the separation of rights. Even though it was my story, he was the first writer, and he gets story credit when they made a musical version.
He owns those characters.
They were my characters. They were people from my family, and he got the separation rights. He can sell these rights, and I get nothing. And he not a word in the script.
I had the same experience in the movie, and you can challenge it. I guess you can hire a lawyer to go outside the writing.
I did. It was different.
Oh, my.
And I was going to sue the guild, and I said, "You can't do this." And Mel Brooks flew back from France. Richard Benjamin, the director, showed up. He said, "We never met this guy, this other guy."
Same conversation.
He said, "Nothing we can do." And I said, "I'm going to quit the guild." And I got a call from Frank Pierce, who was president, and he said, "Don't do this. Everybody gets fucked." I said, what? How is that comforting? But that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's out of your control, and just if you're gonna write, and my experience was, I had hired 2 people on a television show, and had them gotten meetings and everything else, and they had no idea what was in the script. I wrote them for 2 days. It was on this congeniality, actually. It was 2 women's names, and I was very close on, and had literally hired them on several shows.
Yes.
I was the showrunner, and as I said, I was so embarrassed by the idea of this congeniality. I didn't want to fully take credit for it. So I asked them to come up to my house in LA, together for 2 days. And I sat at a typewriter, wrote, and then I moved back to New York. I didn't see them. I wrote 800 drafts, including all the drafts on the script. I asked them to come, I can't even tell you guys this story. I asked them to come to Boston where we were shooting it and reading the script, where they came. And then they left right after. And then we went and made the movie. I wrote another 300 drafts. I thought, I'm going to be an unbelievably nice guy and share story credit with them. Because even with I told you how I came to the and they said, "Oh no, we're writing by credit." And I said, "Can you tell me what's in the script? Do you have?" They had no idea what was in the movie at that point. We went to the Writers Guild and we had our hearings. And because I had gotten them hired, I mean, even when the studio bought the idea, they made very clear to me, "We don't know who these other 2 people are. We couldn't put their names on the script and give them as much money as we want, but we're hiring you." We just want to make that clear. So, fine. So I had to leave on the script and give them money for writing it, which they didn't do. And when I went to the Writers Guild, and also the hearings are not great because often the people who have time to be on the Writers Guild hearing committee are not working for the most part. And
I know who you are.
they didn't like the fact that I was an established screenwriter at that point. So what they felt I was doing was this established screenwriters coming and trying to steal credit from these 2 women.
Yeah.
I hired these 2 women. I got the agents. I brought them onto this thing, and they kept saying, "Yes, but there's 3. It's written by 3 names on every draft of the script." I could have also put Daffy Duck and Herman Goring. I was the one that put names on every single draft of the script. I could have left them off. One, but this names in every draft of the script.
Yeah. That's
Writers Guild. So,
but the Writers Guild is a great organization.
Is there like a book I can read that has their bylaws or whatever, so I can?
don't worry.
I'm not just curious,
You can, but those kinds of decisions are made in those rooms. And honestly, the thing about it, here's what I would say about that, and this I absolutely believe to be true. Hollywood, I think you'll back me. Hollywood, which I don't know if you guys find out there, whatever, it's an incredibly small town. It's a lot of people going to the same parties and talking to each other. Not right, but it's a lot of other people going to the same parties and talking to each other. And the last words I said to these two ladies was, I said, this will not work out for you. You may get some jobs from that. I don't know if the movie's going to work or not work or what happens, but you may get some jobs that people don't know. They're going to call Castle Rock Pictures, they're going to call Warner Brothers, they're going to call Sam Bullock, who's producing the movie, they're going to call people, and all of them are going to say that they never met you and you can work on the film. I'm telling you that the way to go into a meeting is to say, you know, we knew Mark, we sat and we batted around ideas for 4 days, and so excited to be a part of it, and, you know, now I'm really ready to go out write my own. That's the way to go into a meeting. And they both went out and told everyone that they wrote the movie. To this day, they told people they wrote the movie, but they've been called 30 times. And what starts to happen, people don't want to hire you if off the bat the story is weird. I remember I was actually, with Sandy, and Matthew McConaughey called her and said, I'm sitting here in my office with the woman who wrote Mrs. Geniality, and said, that's funny, because Marc Lawrence who actually wrote Mrs. Geniality. She didn't get hired, and he, you know, it's so, don't do that, because it's a small town, people talk to each other. And I don't understand the impulse actually to take credit for what you haven't written in the first place. It seems to me to be an immoral stance, which somehow I think would have to impact whatever you do next, but everybody makes a decision.
I got a call once from Michael Ovitz, and he said, somebody just handed me a script that I know that you wrote, but your name is no longer on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a very one when they,
and it was two guys who I hired, same thing. And he said, what should I do? I said, well, they didn't write it. He said, what? I'm going to fire this agent, Jack Rathke.
Oh, I know that.
So, because he gave me this, but I said, don't do that.
Yeah, you can't do great things when people write as a team and then they break up and they want to submit the scripts they've written and they write out your name or take your name off the thing. And so, you know, I mean, you guys should absolutely not be worried about that. If you write with a partner, and it works for you, then you do it, and it's great. If you guys ever break up, it's like, I mean, when you get married, you don't plan the divorce. So just you know.
I did.
You know, I don't think you need to prep up for that, but just go do it. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just write. Get the stories right, get the characters right. Watch as many movies and television shows that you like as you can. Get a hold of as many scripts as you can from whatever you're trying to write for or whatever you like. The translation between watching and reading on the page is instrumental in your drinking this in and getting the rhythms and feeling it. See where they made their act breaks. If you're trying to write for a specific show, spec script, really become a scientist and a student of that show. Break it down. See where their act breaks. How do they handle this? How do they bring in subplots? Know more about the show than they know about the show when you go to write your spec script. I know if you have, if you do the work and you have the ability to do it, it will absolutely show. That you study the show and you get the rhythm, see how people talk. That's the great thing about television. You can sit and watch and look at that and take it apart. But I mean, for me, with movies to this day, I have a big library of movies, and I still sit and if I'm stuck on something, and I go back and say, oh, you know, whatever it is, how did they do that 40-year-old virgin? Or how did you go back and you watch and you say, oh, there's the act break, and that's how you stop that problem. You got to be a student of this stuff. And the more you watch and the more you read, I think osmosis is still one of the biggest features. The rhythms sink in to the point where you want to get to the place where when you're writing, you know it's not really working. I may have to blow past this part and come back to it, but you should know it's not working because someone else will tell you. Okay.
We are this close to a clean getaway.
All
right.
So we're here to see that one too. Thank you guys. Don't listen to anything Mitch says. Whatever Mitch says, he's a terrible guy. No, he's wonderful.
So I can get my, yeah.
Let's see if we can do this.